Okay, guys, we are starting on a new assignment for the next few days. This is Inventor or 2-4.1. It has 5 different drawings on it. I think it'll take you about 2 days to do everything, maybe 3, 2.5. I'll probably give you a little bit of time if you can't get it. But I'm going to be making videos for all 5 of these drawings. So let's go get started on part number 1, which is the tool stand. Okay, so here I have it on my screen. You guys will notice that if we look at it from the front or we look at it from the top, that it is symmetrical along our YZ axis. Okay, so this making this, we're going to be doing it where we're only going to be drawing half of it and then mirroring it across our axis to give us our full part. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and click on create a brand new standard IPT, and we are going to be making a sketch on the the YZ plane. Okay, so we're looking at the right side. Alright, so I'm going to be making 3 rectangles. I'm going to make one that is going to give us our overall height, one that comes out this way, that is our neck, and then one that comes flat across the bottom, that is our base. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some dimensions. Our overall height from top to bottom is 4.5. Okay, it's going to readjust, so zoom out. This little section of our top guy is 1 inch. Okay, and I'm only going to be making this section here come out 1.5. Okay, all right, I'm sorry, 1.5. And then I'm gonna make this this smaller rectangle on the bottom, gonna be 0.18 tall. Okay, and then from left to right, this overall distance is 5.375. Okay, and I'm not going to do anything here yet with this this distance here because it doesn't give us one over here. But if we look here, it gives us a radius of this arc. So this arc is a radius of 1.5. So we're going to click right here on fillet. We're going to type in 1.5, and I'm going to click here and here. Okay, so that gives us that arc. And if we look very closely right here in the middle, that is where the midpoint or the center mark of our arc is, which lines up on this outside line. So I'm going to click on coincident, and I'm going to click on my center mark, and I'm going to click right here on this line, and it adjusts where it should be. Okay, I'm then going to make another fillet for this inner radius of 0.5. So I'm going to change this to 0.5. I'm going to click on this line and this line, and it adjusts that. Okay. We are going to go ahead and draw in this radius or this arc right here, which has R4, and it tells us that the center point is 3.5 inches above the base. Okay, I'm going to ignore that for right now, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to, the circle, we have an arc that's a radius of 4, so we're going to make a circle that has a diameter of 8. Okay, so the reason why I am ignoring this height is because I'm going to make this tangent here with this arc, and I'm going to make this point here of my rectangle coincident with this, with our circle. Okay, and this kind of helps us adjust things and where things should be. Okay, if I were to follow this, it would be off. So I'm just going to do it the way that I just told you. I'm going to make this tangent, and I'm going to click on coincident, click on this point in my circle, and it adjusts it. And I'm going to trim away all of the circle that I didn't all of the stuff that I didn't need. And this is the way that I should have. This is what you guys should have. So go ahead and click on finish sketch, and we're going to go ahead and extrude. We're going to extrude all of this, all of our parts that we just made. So you should have something that looks like this, and we're only going to be extruding it by half of 0.25. Remember I said half because we're going to be mirroring it, so half of 0.25 is 125. Okay, so we're extruding it that way. Say yes. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let's go ahead and put in our, what do we want to do next? Okay, I know what I want to do next. I'm going to start a new sketch. I'm going to rotate this a little bit so I can see the bottom, and I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to click here. Okay, so that now we are looking at the bottom. We're going to click on project geometry, click here, and we're just projecting this bottom base, and that's all that I wanted. And now we're just going to be drawing this section here. Okay, so I'm going to make a circle. I'm just drawing my general shapes. You guys can follow along with me, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to make this rectangle coincident, this corner of my rectangle coincident with this here. Okay, and I am going to do that. Then I'm going to add my dimensions. I'm going to say from my origin to the center of this circle is 0.56. Okay, and then this has a radius of 0.56. But remember, we're working with circles, so we're going to have to multiply that by 2. And so that gives us a radius of, a diameter of 1.12. Okay, oops, and this should actually be 0.56. Okay, I'm going to click on tangent, and I'm going to make this edge of the circle tangent with this line so it moves it over. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to make this edge collinear. So I'm going to click on collinear. I'm going to make this line collinear with this line here. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of shrink that down. Actually, I'm going to make it coincident here. Okay, and then I'm going to click on fillet, and I'm going to say that this fillet, this edge right here, is 0.75. So I'm going to make a 0.75 fillet here, and it's not doing it. So I'm going to trim. Let's see if that helps. Here and here. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so if you had any issue of for whatever reason, trying to fillet that, you needed to trim. So I trimmed everything away. And, oops. Okay, so I end up with something looking like this. So once you have that, go ahead and click on Finish Sketch, and we're going to extrude this up by 0.18, and this is what you guys should have, like so. All right, so once you have that, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in this, like, what's it called? This lip right here on the back edge of this part. So we're going to make a new sketch on this face. And we're going to go to Project Geometry. We're going to click this line, and this line. Say OK, and we're going to offset this by 0.18. Okay, and I'm going to close off my sections. Okay, and then once you do that, we're going to go ahead and extrude. Okay, remember I said that we are extruding halfways, and then we're going to mirror it across our YZ plane. Okay, so right here we had a distance of 0.25, and we have another distance of 0.31, and they're measuring across this center line. So we divided 0.25 in half, and that gave us 0.125. What we're going to do is we're going to find the difference between 0.31 and 0.25 and figure that out. That's 0.06, and we're going to divide that by 2, which gives us 0.03. So that is what we are going to be extruding by. So 0.03 is our distance, and yeah, I know it looks really thin, and that's fine. If we look at our original drawing, it is thin, and that's it. You know what I forgot to do? We forgot to put the lip on the bottom. So let's go ahead and make another sketch on that plane. And I'm going to do the same thing where I project my geometry. Okay. And we are projecting this, or maybe not. Let me look at my original drawing. We are not projecting it by that distance. We are going to be projecting it, or we're going to be extruding it this entire distance. So it's a good thing that I did it the other way. Okay. So that once we have that, we're going to offset this again by 0.18. Okay, and we're going to close this off here and this off here. Okay. Okay. And we're going to extrude this. It's going to select that. We're not going to put a distance in, and we're going to click on this one where this button that says 2, and we're going to touch this face, and it extrudes it to that distance. Okay, so instead of trying to figure it out on our own, we can ask Inventor to fill in the gaps and to fill in the things, and it does what we need it to do. Okay, so what do we do next? Such a predicament that we're in because I am not sure. I mean, there's a ton of different ways that we can go with this. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this circle here. Okay, so I'm going to click right here on this top face, and I'm going to make a sketch. And this is my origin, so I'm going to make a circle right here that has a diameter of 0.88. And yep, that's what I want. So 0.88, I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to click, I don't know. Well, I can click right here where it's going to flip the direction that it's going in. We're not cutting it, we are adding it. Okay, and that's what I want. But now I have to get rid of this. Okay, so if we look here, we have a smooth transition, but right here we don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sketch there. I'm going to project that, and I'm going to project this here as well. And I'm just going to make a triangle. Okay, a very bad triangle, but I'm going to use my collinear constraints to make this collinear here and to make this collinear here. Okay, we're going to cut out this little this little section here, and this has a angle of 10 degrees. So I'm going to change that to 10, and it's just going to cut out this section. So I'm going to trim this line here and that line there, so that way I only get this section to cut out. Okay, so once you have that, go ahead and click on Finish Sketch and Extrude, and we're going to cut, and it should cut everything away. Alright, so that is exactly what we needed. We have one more thing to do before we are done. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to make a sketch here. Okay, and I'm going to project my geometry. I'm going to project this line and this line. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a circle, and I'm going to connect it to actually I'm not. I'm just going to make a circle that has, I'm going to make it tangent with that line, but for whatever reason it's not connecting, so I'm going to click on tangent, click on this edge of my circle and this edge of this part. Okay, and then I want to make my circle, the center of my circle, coincident with this line here, so that way it's the right size. And then there's a distance. Okay, so from the center of this circle to the center of this is 2. I know it's a weird way to dimension things, but that's the way that this is happening. So I'm just going to fill in the gaps. I'm just making a rectangle, and I am going to trim this. So I'm trimming that. Oops, I was supposed to fill in the whole gap. Okay, and this is what I end up with. Okay, so I know it looks weird. I know I kind of did it a weird way, but this is exactly what I wanted. Where we have like this half arc, okay, and a square. I know I went about it a weird way. So go ahead and click on extrude. We're selecting all of the profiles that we just made, and we are turning it in the opposite direction, and we're not cutting, we are adding, and it's 0.75, and we should end up with something that looks like this. Okay, I know I did that really oddly, but it's fine, guys. All right, so once you have this, now what we're going to do, we have all these extrusions. Now what we're going to do is we are going to mirror what we have. So we're going to go up here to the top where on the panel is going to be pattern, and we're going to select all of the extrusions from top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we are Maybe not extrusion 5 because it, okay, whatever. It's not letting me deselect it. And we're going to mirror it across the YZ plane. Okay, and it automatically helps you out. Like you guys can see, if we choose the different planes, it shows what's happening. So that's why using the origin and the planes to your advantage is a very big, or like using the planes is only to your advantage. So once you have that, go ahead and click on OK, and it should mirror everything, which it does. And now all we need to do is add some holes. Okay, we have a hole here, so I'm going to click on hole, and I'm going to click on this bottom surface and choose that arc as our reference, and the diameter of this hole is 0.5. Say OK. I'm going to put another hole on the bottom here, and this arc is my reference, and this hole is 0.5, but it doesn't go all the way through. It has a certain distance, and the distance is down here, 0.56, and that's it. So say OK, and that is done. So let's go ahead and save this where everything looks right. Everything looks the way that it should. Oh, the only thing that I think I am missing is radiuses, or I'm sorry, fillets. So we're going to click on fillet. We're going to change the radius of the fillet to 0.06, and then see what we can do. And we're just going to fillet as much of everything as possible. Actually, no fillets. I think it's fine the way that it is. So let's go ahead and save this as, oops, let's find the right place to save this. And we're going to make a folder. This folder is going to be 2-4.1 assignment. Please make folders. It helps you guys. It helps me when I come to help you and you say that you lose things. If you make folders, it makes it easier for us to find things. And we're going to save this as 2-4.1.2 tool stand. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and lay it out on a sheet. So this is in the regular English system, so we're going to use our regular title block, and we are going to turn it to this way. This is our right side, so we're going to put this here, and one up here, and say OK. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and change the sheet size to a B size sheet, and then change the scale up to 1, and everything should probably fit a lot better on this. And there you go. Okay, so there are quite a bit of dimensions. I'm not going to tell you how many. I know how many there are. You guys should count. You guys should make sure that you have the same amount of dimensions. Please make sure that you guys are adding center marks and center lines. Okay, I know that you guys do seem to forget that for whatever reason. Yeah, I know. I understand that center marks are boring, but they are necessary. Okay, you guys do need them. Make sure that you're using centerline bisectors, that you're using center marks, and please make sure that you're adding all of the dimensions except this one. That has a diameter, I'm sorry, a height of 3.5. That's the only one that you do not need to put on this drawing. If you guys have any questions at all, please let me know, and thank you.